Hey, welcome back Design Squad, and in this design systems in Sketch, specifically creating atomic design system in Sketch video, we're gonna cover the next step, which is basically scaling of those atoms, molecules and organisms we made into the templates and then pages. And I'm gonna cover in this case the thinking and doing behind how you actually scale it from, organisms and all those different combinations of different patterns. We're gonna make it into the templates you can actually reuse in future projects. Because what we did so far, to quickly recap, is we took one of the mockups we have before and we deconstructed that into atoms, into all the color variables, into textiles. Then we took it into molecules, which is combinations of the different atoms together, as you can see in different type of use cases here. Then we took it into organisms. So last video, if you haven't seen it, watch them all, because it's make much more sense when it comes to atomic design systems and how it scales atomically, basically. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take these organisms and we're gonna make the new templates and then lastly pages. Now, the distinction between templates and pages might be a bit confusing at first. If you have any experience with WordPress, let's say, and how they manage templates, it's exactly the same way. So once you combine your organisms into like a structure, which can then be reused across different pages, and let me show you exactly. Let's say I'm gonna call this template chat page or something like that. So this is a template for all the chat pages, but what's inside could vary depending on what page you're on. I could either copy paste these organisms I created, but as you can see I have Sketch Smart symbols, which allows me to simply go to templates and then insert symbol by symbol. And then like Lego, basically, I'm just gonna combine all of them into something which is actually usable. And as a designer, let's say, imagine that you just started with this team, imagine that you just started with this design system. That's exactly how you would create new templates. You would just go through, familiarize yourself with every component which is available, with every molecule what's available, and you would take those different bits and combine them into something usable. And as you can see, I just dragged most of it. I think only thing what I'm missing is just a background for the chat, but as a Lego, I could just simply take the top, take the side, let's say the status bar, assemble those two bits into like a sidebar together, then take this pattern off the top bit. I know that this is the bottom, and again, I'm doing it by eye. So if you're designing it naturally, you would spend more time trying to figure out exactly where it should be. But now I basically assembled the chat field. I'm just gonna go to organisms, or actually I could go to my atoms and just take that light gray, as you can see, layer. I could just take it and I could just place it, and that's that. All I need to do is just put it down, and as you can see, everything in my template right now is editable apart from these two bad boys, but everything else is a smart symbol. And so boom, I just assembled a new template, and in a sense a new page, because if this is the template for that specific chat purpose, it becomes a page. But imagine that, let's say I would want to design something like a new template for, let's say, a files or wiki could look like for that specific chat, for that specific project in Microsoft Teams. I could simply resize the existing one, just copy it over and call that template, let's say, wiki or something like that. And what I can do is just simply delete that unnecessary bit and then replace this bit. Chat bar, I can select chat wiki, which I predefined before in one of the molecules and organisms. Now I have a new template, and basically I could come up with some sort of new ways to do it. And naturally, as discussed in previous videos, I would probably do it in the labs, in that specific lab environment, so I don't break anything. It's much easier to then port it into templates. But just for a demo right now, that's not how I would necessarily do. I would just define what's inside this wiki bit. And let's just imagine that for now it's just a photo of something. Imagine that this is the template for our wiki, so every time when we design a page for, let's say, a chat, and it has to contain wiki in it, this is the template that engineers have to engineer, the users are gonna see, and maybe just replace a photo in this fictitious scenario, right? And so we do have two templates. If we want to roll it out on a page, there's nothing easier than, let's say, this page could be the home page. And to be entirely honest, in Microsoft Teams, the home page is the chat page. So I could just literally take that template. I could, even if I would want to, make a new symbol out of all of it, which would become a massive bit. So it's up to you how you want to handle it. I'm just gonna copy it for now for this specific demo. But as you can see, I'm gonna end up with this page. In some design systems, naturally, the templates and pages are grouped, because if your app, let's say in this case, I don't even know if I would have pages. I might just have templates/pages as a separate design system, bracket, as a separate box where I keep all my material. But if you have very complex enterprise type of solutions or type of apps, you would probably want to have separate templates and pages, because it's easier to update one and not the other, or roll out the changes if you need to. You're gonna notice that we set up the atoms, we set up the molecules, we set up the organisms, we set up the templates and pages, and we basically made a very simple design system, which all started with just a screenshot like this, with random UI patterns which were extracted bit by bit in the atomic way. So the next time someone wants to design a new bit, they could simply, let's say, copy this template into the labs, let's say, where I keep all that stuff. I need to clean it up, of course. And imagine that they would go and they need to add a new icon as a new feature, where they not just attach or insert a smiley or format text, but also want to do, I don't know, what could be a good type of example. Maybe we want to do something like introduce Microsoft Cortana, which is one of the products. Immediately play around here. So I would probably deconstruct everything, like detaching from symbol. I could also go straight into atoms and define it there. But it's good to see how it looks holistically as a whole. Have those icons, find a new icon, really quickly gonna look for, let's say, Cortana. Maybe that's a bit pushing it, but no, we actually can find something. And imagine that this is the one I'm looking for. I'm just gonna quickly grab it for a demo. You probably would have a bit different flow to manage these assets, but not to take up too much of your time, imagine that this is our new addition of voice recording, so you can attach your voice message to your chat. Imagine that I'm happy as a designer with this. I got a sign off from my team, a UX review happened, a product review happened. What I could do next is just simply create a symbol. If I remember how it was, I think it was atom, icons, and then I can just say voice, let's say. I'm not sure if it's correct, probably not. And then I could also add it to my atom collection, to, let's say, all these icons. As you can see, I have quite a few. And so I add it to my icon collection here. As you can see, it's a smart symbol. Then I update my molecules, let's say, and then I go to organisms, where the actual expression is, like so. And I can go ahead and just edit that smart symbol in the symbols, let's say, because I created it, and just add a new icon from my symbols defined before. And boom! Now if I go back, as you can see, my organisms got updated. My templates got updated too, and my pages got updated too. And so one small bit introduced in the labs, then taken into atoms, then rolls out across the different bits, because it scales that way. You work within some sort of framework, within constraints, but it's very easy to then update going forward if you want to add a new functionality, let's say like that Cortana introduction. Even if you have 20 pages, it's so easy to immediately update, because everything uses the Sketch smart symbols nesting, and so everything rolls out automatically. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, share with a friend who would benefit. Maybe it's your teammate and you haven't done any design systems before. Do so, because I'm sure it's gonna benefit at least how it can scale. On that note, it's time to wrap up. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.